Hey everyone, this is Denecia and you're watching So Well Business. The holiday season is a joyful experience for some, and for others, it is a time that brings up a lot of emotional baggage. It is very painful stuff that comes up from the past, and it holds us back a lot of the times when we're stressed. Have you ever gotten so upset with someone, what they say or they do, and it's really hard for you to get back in that peaceful state? On today's show, I'm going to share some tips with you that will allow you to know exactly how to identify when you're getting triggered and how to get back to a peaceful state fast. You're probably wondering, how do you know you have been triggered, right? And what is an emotional trigger anyway? When you're triggered, it is an emotional stimulation, and it's stimulated by something that is negatively done or said, or an event that causes you to feel a negative emotion. These emotions can include anger, fear, guilt, or shame. And the next question that I am always getting from folks is, what do you do to get back to that peaceful state, right? Because everyone wants to get back into the peaceful state. I'm going to give you a couple steps. Step one is acknowledge that you were triggered in the first place. You will know when you're being triggered, and it's kind of like you have this emotion that's coming up and it feels kind of like an uncontrollable surge of energy in a part of your body, and the emotional response happens because, of that trigger. So this will allow you to really be honest with yourself and take the time to step aside, get some time alone. And in your silence, it will allow you to calm down a bit, okay, when you acknowledge it. Step two is stepping away to reflect. And this process allows you to really reflect on what just happened. There are two ways that you can handle being triggered, right? The first way is taking the time to care for yourself. And this is really the proactive route of doing things. You really figure out what is the cause of why you're being triggered and calming yourself down. The second is really kind of focusing on the reactive state or the reactive choice, which is to go from 0 to 30 without really realizing the cause of why you got triggered in the first place. And the proactive method that I mentioned is so much more powerful than the reactive one. And obviously, we want to go the powerful route. So the painfulness of a triggered is pretty much switched up, and you're able to be in an empowered position. So I'm going to basically talk about a process here that I think will help you just really focus on diving deeper. So the first step of when you're getting triggered is really stepping aside and figuring out what happened, right? The second step is really closing your eyes. Third is really diving deep and taking a deep breath, just to bring oxygen to your body to really feel through what just happened. Because usually we freeze up when we're getting triggered, or we were triggered. So when we breathe deep and we're able to be more calm when we have our eyes closed, it really is very helpful. And then the next step is really figuring out, why were you triggered? What happened? When you use this method, you can also find out how to take control of the situation and grow past any recurring situations that may come up, or just to simply acknowledge that it's okay for you to feel through your own emotions to heal. When you practice this basic method of identifying your trigger, it will help you have your triggers be less and less intense than before. And while at the same time, you will end up becoming able to figure out quickly what is the cause of your trigger and allowing it to not bother you as much anymore, because it will allow you to grow stronger and stronger with making sure that you put your emotions, your physical well-being and mental well-being first. Once you reflect on what happened and why it bothered you, a way to counter it is to really think about how you will rise above that negative emotion that tried to take your power away. So that would be basically pulling a positive emotion to replace the negative one. And this allows you to make sure that you are happy long-term, even when other people or places or things are triggering you, okay? So an example of doing this is if you're angry because you were triggered and it made you feel like you weren't worth anything, like people didn't appreciate you. They didn't value you the way that you wanted to. The underlying emotion when you would dive deep would be having low self-worth or low self-esteem, or just simply being tired that day. And so the counter of that would be to say that you are worthy, that you are worth it, that you are amazing. And you might be a little tired, and that might be the reason why you're emotional at the time. And once you do this and you counter that and you continue to say that to yourself and love yourself and appreciate who you are, you're going to take the power out of anyone else's hands and put it back into your own. And so what will happen from this is that you'll start to see a change in the way that you feel about yourself and the way that others will feel about you and interact with you. And this, as a process, will help reduce that trigger that was coming up for you. When you believe it, you will achieve it, right? Have you ever heard that saying, you are what you eat? Well, that saying also can be applied to the way that you feel and think about yourself. So step 3 is to have compassion. During the holiday season, just really be kind with yourself. It's a stressful time, and really be kind to yourself and love yourself, even if others aren't able to do that for you or to show that they have that love for you. I know this is the hardest thing for me to do during this process because at times during the holiday season, I would get stuck with fear and anger and holding grudges about what someone said to me and all that great stuff that just really caused me to be stuck in unhappiness. And at the end of the day, what I realize is that when I focus on having compassion for people and also for myself, I was able to easily let go of the anger and the unforgiveness and the fear and the resentment. And boy, letting those heavy emotions go makes life so much easier to live. Letting all that stuff go is also a really good way of deepening happiness. And many studies, having compassion and letting things go have shown to help others live a healthier life. So, would this be hard for you to do? Well, I know you will get there. When you take the first step, just take it. Start small, forgive little things, and then start to forgive people for bigger and bigger things. And then eventually, you'll have no one to forgive. When your compassionate muscle is stronger, you will attract more love and abundance as a person. So when there is a trigger that comes up, it just won't really bother you anymore, okay? And that's where you want to be. You want to have that power inside of you. And I know that this might seem really difficult to do, but all I can say is, what is the worst that can happen? You can feel awkward doing it. You can, just practice it, and then eventually you'll gain a new way of thinking and doing things to improve your quality of life. So, what is the definition of insanity? It is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So, trying something new right now is probably going to be a good thing unless you want to be insane. All right, I just wanted to laugh it off a little bit and shake things up a little bit and just let you know that you're amazing. Thank you for all of your support. I really do appreciate you. And I want to hear more about how this process is doing in your life. I want to also really understand what resonated with you today on the show. And what are some things that are triggering you during this holiday season, 2022 or 2021, going into 2022. Share your experience on how these methods are working for you in your life. I want to hear about them, so share them below in the comments area. And if you need more advanced help with the things that trigger you and are ready for a major shift in your life that will allow you to change your results and rewrite your story, I have news for you. So my coaching program, Balance Within, the open enrollment is coming up. It's only open once a year in mid-January. I have limited space for my one-on-one coaching clients, and for the group coaching clients, we have limited time. So stay tuned for more details in the next coming weeks for information, okay? So if you like this and you want more of videos like this, like and subscribe, share it with others. It allows me to know that what you want is what I'm going to give you more of, okay? All right, so thank you again for being here with me. I appreciate you. You're doing a great job. Keep up the great work. And like always, until the next time we meet, be beautiful and be well. Bye.